What is going on, ladies and gents? Robert Sykes, KetoSavage.com, coming back at you another AMA Ask Me Anything episode. This one's all about optimizing strength and performance while in a deficit. But before we dive into that, let's roll the intro. All right, so this question is brought to us by Maya, and she asks, "Hi, I'm halfway through DSK, Deeper State Keto program, and my calories are starting to get very low. Will this slow down my muscle growth or performance in the gym?" Thank you for the question, Maya. The answer is yes. All right, so I always like to tell people that building muscle and losing body fat kind of compete for one another. Yes, you can build muscle and lose fat at the same time, but you're not really going to optimize for either if you're trying to do both. What I mean by that from a very simple high-level view is that in order to optimize muscle building, in order to build more tissue on your frame, you're going to ideally need to be in a caloric surplus. In order to ideally lose body fat, lose more tissue, you're going to ideally need to be in a caloric deficit. So they kind of compete for each other in that regard. Yes, you can build some muscle while in a deficit. Yes, the same is true in reverse. But you're not going to optimize for either if that is the case. So I always recommend people prioritize one of those options, whether it is to build muscle or lose fat, and then embrace that phase, that chapter that you're in, and then when the time comes to switch gears and go to the opposite phase, by all means, embrace that phase fully. But if you're trying to lose body fat, which the Deeper State Keto protocol is primarily a fat loss protocol, not a muscle building protocol, then you can expect some dip in performance as you go through that. When you are eating at a deficit, especially towards the latter half of a deficit, when your calories are very low, you have less energy coming in. The less energy you have coming in, the harder it's going to be to perform at a high level with the weight training and just overall performance in general. Now, you can certainly do things to minimize that drop in performance, such as getting ample sleep, ample recovery, prioritizing nutrient-dense foods with the calories that you do have allotted to consume throughout the day, and just doing everything you can to optimize that. Also, continuing to lift hard and heavy in the context of a deficit is the best thing you can do to preserve the muscle tissue that you've built. But when you're in a fat loss phase, when you're in a deficit, when you're in Deeper State Keto, the goal is not to build more muscle so much as it is so to lose fat optimally and preserve the muscle tissue that you've already built. Now, after that is over and you transition to a reverse diet and then eventually back into a caloric surplus, you can then switch gears and try to optimize more muscle building. And then every time you do that, every time you cycle through those phases, you improve your starting position, you improve your stopping position, you improve the amount of lean mass you're carrying around, which in turn is going to have an up-regulatory effect on your metabolism by simply having more muscle tissue. Also, as you transition to a caloric surplus, that is going to have an up-regulatory effect on your metabolic rate as well. So metabolism depresses as calories drop. As metabolism depresses, it becomes harder to preserve the lean muscle tissue you've got. Everything just becomes, actually let me rephrase that. Your metabolism depressing in and of itself does not, I'm kind of getting the weeds here, but your metabolism depressing in and of itself does not inhibit your body's ability to preserve lean mass. However, as you are reducing your calories and your energy subsides, it's going to be harder for you to train hard. That is going to result in a loss in performance and lean mass. So in the context of a deficit, to summarize, in the context of a deficit, yes, you will likely see a dip in performance and strength. Do everything you can to minimize drop in lean tissue, mainly being proper recovery, ample nutrient density, and continuing to train hard and heavy. Make the most of the fat loss phase. Lose as much body fat as you can in a healthy manner while preserving as much lean tissue as you have. And then once that fat loss phase is over, healthfully transition to a reverse diet and then eventually a building phase. That is my recommendation, Maya. Hopefully that answers your question. You requested some mocha cream keto bricks, so I've got some of those headed your way. For any of you that do not know how these AMA Ask Me Anything episodes work, if you submit a well-thought-out question via the form in the description below, the Google form in the description below, and I use your question, I will send you some free keto bricks with a flavor of your choosing. Thank you very much, Maya. Take care. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next time.